You jealous, you petty, and you can't take rejection. Got it. Hey nerds, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a movie review on Mufasa. But before we get into that, I just want to thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Now let's get into this. I want to start this video off by sharing my initial thoughts when news first came out about Mufasa. So if you don't know, Mufasa is the prequel to The Lion King, but there's a lot going on. So Disney remade The Lion King in 2019, a live action remake version. They've been on this live action remake kick since what, 2014? And let me just say, I'm not a fan. I do have a few exceptions, but overall, no. And this is with, I said this before plenty of times on the channel, I'm not a fan of remakes. I'm not a fan of remakes. I don't care what genre it is. I don't care if it's a TV show or a movie. No. Now, do some of the remakes surpass like the original? Sometimes, but not always. So yeah, Disney remade The Lion King live action in 2019, and I was not a fan. I was not, it didn't give what it's supposed to have gave. And this was very important to me that they did it right, because as you guys know, if you are not new here, The Lion King is my most favorite movie of all time. Like, most favorite Disney movie, most favorite like animated movie, like it doesn't matter. Lion King is my favorite movie ever. And so I was really hoping and praying, wishing like, okay, they cannot mess this up. They cannot mess this up. They cannot mess this up. And then what do you know? They messed it up. Now, I wasn't gonna watch it for tons of reasons because certain actors were in it, and I was like, okay, I don't need to see any more of them. I don't need to hear any more of them. And I gotta be honest, I wasn't feeling it, and I was like, okay, no. So when I heard this was coming out, initially I was like, can we just leave stuff alone? Can we leave stuff alone? And then if we wanted to get Mufasa and Scar's origin story, we could have did that back in the day and still kept it animated. But let me tell you what finally convinced me to go see the movie. I went and saw it in theaters twice, and I streamed it, what, 3 times? I only went and saw this movie because of 2 reasons. Kelvin Harrison Jr. and Aaron Pierre. Listen, the Mufasa press tour was all over my For You page on TikTok, and seeing these two together being kind and charismatic and so, you know, in love with their craft and in love with what they did for this movie, I strictly saw the movie because of the 2 of them. Their charisma and their passion was what got me to see this movie. Literally, that was my only exception for going to see it, and I wasn't going in with very high expectations. Now, the first time around I saw it, I was like, okay, that was nice. I think it did, you know, its due diligence. I think it was nice, great. And then I saw it a second time, and a third, and a fourth, and a 5th. The movie is, I'm gonna admit it, I really like this movie. I really like this movie. Now, there are people like me who are such die-hard Lion King fans that they were like just straight up no. You know, some people didn't even go see the movie, which I get, I understand. The thing that you love the most to have continuity and have it to be done right. You want it to be tasteful, I get all that. But this was actually kind of pretty very good. I didn't do a little synopsis. Why did I not do that? Hold on, sorry. So Mufasa is the prequel to The Lion King, and this is where we get Mufasa and Scar's, or his birth name, Taka's backstory, okay? We see them grow up together, we see their dynamic, we see how they become the great characters that we know and love today in the original Lion King. And this is also where they meet Sarabi and Rafiki and Zazu. Alright, now that I've done that, let's talk about the characters. So let's start with Mufasa, okay, our title character. Mufasa is a natural born leader. He is so selfless. He's very strong, both physically and mentally, and I truly do think that he is wise beyond his years. I will say this, he is a man written by a woman. well, a lion, but you know what I'm trying to say. He has so much compassion and support for everybody around him. And this relies solely on the fact that he had two mothers. Not one, but two. He had two mothers who knew what they were doing. They knew how to raise a son. Kudos to Afia and Neshe. Y'all did that. Y'all raised an excellent son. Y'all did that. And Mufasa is just so family oriented, and seeing him in his beginning stages of his life and making that connection with the original work, and then also going on into other things that sprout off from the original movie, it keeps the family message and the theme of family super intact and just adds another layer to that. So yeah, Mufasa. Then we have Taka. This is Scar, pre-Simba, pre-OG Lion King, okay? He is the son of a king who isn't that great of a ruler. He's trash. And he's taught that his title alone can give him access to anything that he may desire, which... no. And Taka really does have a special connection with Mufasa from the first time that they meet as children. If you've seen the movie, we know why he is the way that he is. Taka is all bark and no bite, and he always cracks under pressure. Not to mention that he is very jealous and petty as well. Beautiful combination. Then there's Obasi. This is Taka's father, the king that thinks he is everything since sliced bread. He is such a poser. He's just a big fat coward in my eyes. And Obasi is the literal definition of toxic masculinity. The only thing that Obasi really cares about is his royal title and how Taka is going to carry that on, carry his legacy on, which there's not much of a legacy to carry on because all you do is lay around, lounge about underneath the sun and nap all day. You don't do nothing. Like, you don't do shit. Then there's Eshe. This is Taka's mother. She is a very steady motherly figure for Mufasa for when he loses his mom. But what I do love about Eshe is that she teaches, or she tries to teach, both Mufasa and Taka the importance of sticking together as a family. That is a great woman. Love you, Eshe. Then we have Sarabi. This is future Mrs. Mufasa, okay? This is girl boss, but in lioness form. She's that girl. She don't put no shit ever. Never will. She is also of royal blood. She is a princess from another lion pride. And I adore that Sarabi wasn't another helpless damsel in distress. Sarabi is very intuitive, she's balanced, centered, and she is so mature. And she always held Mufasa and Taka accountable for their actions. Always. Love that. Hold them accountable, girl. That's what you do. That's a grown-ass woman. Then we have Rafiki. We all know and love Rafiki. He is our guide spiritually, mentally, physically. He's just a super great support system for the characters. And he's the most optimistic character out of everybody. Like, he never went anywhere with doubt in his heart or his mind. He always kept his head up and he always looked on the bright side of things. He's just a breath of fresh air and I love him so much, even more so now that I've seen this movie. And then there's Kyros. Kyros our big bad of the movie. There's always got to be an op. There has to be conflict, so this is the op that brings the conflict. Big scary dude, king from an outsider pride. He wants to everybody. He wants to eat everybody. It's done. It's over. So that's all the characters that I'm going to highlight. There you go. Now, I want to talk about some thoughts that I had throughout the film. So starting this off, I just want to say that Mufasa's parents are the actual best. Love them so much. It just warmed my heart to have the movie, or have this story start with him just surrounded in the love of his parents. I was like, oh, they love that little boy and he loves them right on back. That's so sweet. And they covered Mufasa in love even though they were down on their luck. His parents did anything and everything for him to make him feel comfortable and wanted and accepted, and I just love that so much. It warms my heart. The callback to the OG when Mufasa saw the flood coming in, that was giving Simba and the Stampede all over again. Chills up my arms. Especially that first time in theaters, I said, oh my gosh. It's happening again! Speaking on Mufasa coming into Taka's family, I love that he was raised by the women of the pride, and that literally explains so much about him. That's why he is the way he is. The women shaped him, molded him into the man he has become. And then here comes Obasi, like, just bitter from the get-go, rude as hell. And why are you so threatened, so intimidated by a child? Why were you so intimidated by a child who is rightfully named to be a king? He's like, do you know what Mufasa means? That means king, and you are no king. Oh, you're gonna eat your words. You're gonna eat your words. You're gonna eat your words. Karma is a bitch, because how dare you? And then later on, when Obasi told Taka, like, one day he will betray you, you could have not been more wrong. Subtle foreshadowing. I don't even know if that was subtle, because we all know what happened. It was your son. Spoiler alert, newsflash, Obasi from beyond the grave. Your son was the one who betrayed Mufasa. We all know how the story goes. And you can clearly see where Taka gets his cowardly ways from, his sorry ass daddy who ain't worth the damn, but I'm gonna move on. I also love another callback / Easter egg, you know, Kiro's leaving that scratch on the tree, kind of reminding me how Scar used to, you know, drag his drag his claws down and scratch stuff. Shout out to Eshe, for real, because she took in Mufasa, lonely baby stray, and raised him as her own, as any good mother would do. I hate to say it, but I feel like we're all thinking it. Mufasa was definitely her favorite. So when the outsiders rolled up on Mufasa and Eshe, and Taka ran, he ran. You're supposed to be the noble prince and full of pride and strength and shit, but you left your mama. You left your mama with the stray. No shade to Mufasa, and that was pretty much his mama too at that point. But you left your mom to fight alone because you was scared. You was scared. Taka, please. One thing I do appreciate in this movie is seeing the beginning of Taka or Scar and Zazu's dynamic. It's a very small detail, but I noticed it right away when they were in the. Where were they at? In the forest, in a grove of trees, or wherever they were at when they first met Sarabi and Zazu up there, and he was like, you know, kind of circling him, messing with them and stuff like that, while Mufasa and Sarabi were like arguing. You see it, and you see it kind of peppered throughout the story, you know, Taka messing with Zazu and then going back and forth a little bit. And we see that happen in the OG, in the animated movie from the 90s. I love that little detail. That was nice. I like that. And speaking of that part when they first met, like that whole group met up, I realized that I can't believe I'm making this connection. I realized that Mufasa and Sarabi were enemies to friends to lovers. And I was like, what in the Wattpad bullshit is this? Can we just talk about Rafiki's backstory? Tugged at my heartstrings, but I hold it close to my heartstrings. His exile was very reminiscent of like witch hysteria. I just wanted to reach through the screen and give him a hug like the entire time, because that wasn't right. Speaking of Rafiki, he spent this whole movie clocking everybody's teeth, and as he should, because you know, if he hadn't showed up and kept the whole group in check, where would they be? Who would they have become? They probably would have ended up arguing the whole time and ended up killing each other. We don't know what would have happened. So the stampede scene with the elephants. The way Mufasa protected Sarabi, and he held her and sheltered her and comforted her. I said, oh, a man written by a woman? I should not have been crying the way that I was, but I did, and I was crying hard. And speaking of that incident, Mufasa was too good to and for Taka, because he let him take the credit. He said, oh, it wasn't me that saved you, it was Taka actually. He was the one who rescued you, saved your life. He better than me. And he truly does love his brother, because Taka ain't shit, and we been knew that. So when they're in the mountains and Mufasa and Sarabi just got done confessing their love to each other, the transition from tell me it's you to brother betrayed was seamless. I'll get into that more in a little bit, but I just love that transition a lot. You can tell the exact moment where his villain origin story began. Like, he was peeping, creeping, and he was heated. And I will say this, let me say this. Taka had no right to do what he did. He had no right to go down there and tell the ops what the plan was. Because, first of all, you did all this because Mufasa stole Sarabi from you. No, she was never yours in the first place, and she chose Mufasa over you. So you jealous, you petty, and you can't take rejection. Got it. Towards the end, where they're finally in Melele and he's asking all the animals to stand with him, chills. That inspirational speech just, it wouldn't make me get out of my seat. I was like, okay, he's preaching to the choir. Also, this one small minor detail. So when Mufasa yelled, Nansengonyama Bagit, that reminded me, I don't know why, that reminded me of Black Panther when T'Challa and M'Baku were about to, you know, challenge each other. And he said, Dora Milaje Wambili. I don't know why that reminded me of that, but it just did. It just gave.
I will not bend to evil, and neither should you. Nansengonyama Bagit. Dora Milaje Wambili.
Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But it just gave. I don't know why. Maybe it was the cadence of which it was said. I don't know. Seeing how Taka got his physical and emotional scar. It was that last minute switch where he was like, okay, I still have this love and loyalty to my brother, even after you betrayed him and messed everything up, but I'm gonna move on. That was a very powerful moment. That was such a powerful moment. And then he thought he did something when he was like, call me Scar, so I will never forget what I did. No one feels bad for you. No one feels sorry for you. You know what? Taka, Scar, whoever you want to go by at this moment in time, you make me sick, actually. The soundtrack. Almost every song on the soundtrack had me in tears, and I'm not exaggerating. I was full on crying in the theater both times. Let me just say this right now. Let me get this out of the way. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Le Bohème, Hans Zimmer. Y'all did what y'all had to do. This is like the big three of like movie soundtracks right now. This is the big three of like movie soundtracks and scores. Like it don't get no better than Le Bohème, Hans Zimmer, and Lin-Manuel Miranda. This was like a dream team, and they did such a beautiful job with the music in this movie. Mind blown. Mind blown. I loved it. I cherish it. I appreciate it. They did what they had to do. Flowers. Flowers for you all. And going back to Lin-Manuel, sorry, one more thing. He did what he had to do. He did what he had to do. I now understand why people were saying Moana 2's soundtrack was trash. It was because he was too busy putting his foot in this soundtrack. Let me go song by song real quick. So Milele. I love first song we hear in the movie. Just a pleasure to hear Anika Noni Rose's voice again gracing our ears on and in the screens. Oh my goodness. And how satisfying is it that we have Anika Noni Rose and Keith David back together, singing together. Their voices mesh so well. I was floating. I was like, oh, I feel so, I got giddy. I got excited. I'm sorry. I always wanted a brother. Top 3 banger for show. It became TikTok brain rot temporarily. And that's the thing about TikTok. Things just get played out so damn fast on that app. Don't even get me started on Aaron, Pierre, that Mufasa. We're not even gonna talk about that. We're not talking about that. We're gonna leave it where it's at. Leave it where it's at. It's done. But yeah, I always wanted a brother. Top 3 bangers for sure. Bye Bye. The song that Kiro sang, I feel like it's slept on. His grittiness and also the tempo of the song, I think it's slept on. Does it sound similar to We Don't Talk About Bruno from Encanto? Yes! But that's okay. That is fine. If you are a true fan of Lin-Manuel Miranda, you can hear his influence literally anywhere. Like you can pick it out of a lineup. Kiros was talking his throughout this entire song. He called Obasi old and tired, essentially, and saying all up in his face how he's about to rip him and his family apart. That is cold. That is evil. The nerve of you. No, you want to know what's heavily slept on? We Go Together. That is, look, that song is just so good. Y'all don't give it enough appreciation. Yes, I Always Wanted a Brother was amazing, and Tell Me It's You is amazing, but no one is giving We Go Together its praise. Give it its flowers already. The layering, the uplifting, playful atmosphere, you can literally feel the characters bonding in and throughout the song. Oh, real quick, for this song, We Go Together, can we talk about how everyone was just singing about how they wanted to be reunited with their loved ones, and here go Taka talking about how fine Sarabi is. You're your priorities are not in the right place. We're not even worried about all that right now. Talk about me and you go together. No, y'all don't. Tell me it's you. This is my favorite song in the entire movie. From the first time I saw this movie, it has been on replay ever since, and I went and saw it in January, so it's been a fat minute. So do y'all remember back in the 90s where Disney, you know, would include an R&B version of one of the songs from the movie? This gave that. But here's the thing, we don't even need an R&B version of Tell Me You Too because it's already that by itself. Lin brought that formula back. Like, we don't have 90s Disney R&B no more. He brought it back to the table for the youngins. The way that they were yearning for each other, the way that Mufasa was yearning for Sarabi, it can't get no more 90s R&B than that. And towards the middle, you can kind of hear the tinges of inspiration from the other movies. You can hear Can You Feel the Love Tonight when they're like going back and forth. And then towards the very end, you can hear a little bit of Love Will Find a Way from Lion King 2. I felt it and I heard it all. It's my favorite and I'm okay with that. One thing the Lion King movie's gonna do is throw a pan flute solo in a love song. They're gonna do it every time. Brother Betrayed. Kelvin's voice is something to behold because, oh my goodness, the emotion and conviction in which he delivers the song is astounding. He did what he had to do. Kelvin was in there doing his job as he should have been. You can hear the hurt, you can hear the anger, you can hear the rejection, you can hear all of that. When he went, I have a brother no longer, it's over and done. I was like, oh, he's finished, he's over. There's a lot of important messages and takeaways from this movie. And here y'all go. Talia, this is a Disney movie. Shut up. There's something to be learned here. I think one of the messages at the forefront is, you know, following your destiny. And, you know, sometimes it takes us a while to realize what our true destiny is. We see Mufasa taking great strides in his journey. We see Mufasa taking great strides in his destiny to become the great king that he, you know, was in the first movie. We also seeing him trying to push it down and not accept it. Oh, I'm just a stray. Oh, Taka's the true prince. But Taka can't do what you do, boo. You are a natural born leader. You were built for this. You were made for this. You are and always will be a king. Like, quit fighting your destiny. It's going to happen. And it did. And you were so good at it. Another good theme that comes to mind is leadership. Mufasa learns that it's not only strength that makes a great king, it's wisdom and courage. This man was strategizing plans left and right on the way to Milele, okay? We saw it. The confidence he had to lead made the other characters feel as though they could trust him. And you see that full on when he was telling Sarabi to like concentrate and like hear what he heard and smell what he smelled, and he told her that the females were coming down. She was like, oh, you were right. How do you know how to do that? Like, it's his confidence and courage and wisdom to lead, and it made everybody kind of like, you know, okay, we can trust him. He knows what he's talking about. Of course, the obvious message in the movie is the importance of family. There are a lot of family dynamics throughout this film. We see Mufasa when he was a kid with his birth parents. We see Mufasa and his adoptive parents, and then we see him with Taka, Sarabi, Zazu, and Rafiki. And the whole time they were traveling to Milele, trying to reunite and find their families again, he was already with his family. He was already with his family, and then we see that confirmed when they get to the tree and Rafiki said, I was looking for, you know, he was looking for his brother. Mufasa was his brother the whole time, and that's when I started bawling. I was like, oh, that's when I started losing my mind, because I was like, oh my gosh, it's so true. They've been brothers this whole time. Oh my god. And eventually he did reunite with his mother, which was great, but he had that blended family. He had the family he met and made along the way, and then the family who has been with him, you know, since the beginning. Even though his brother did do him dirty over a woman who really wasn't even on you like that. Let me stop. But he still made a place for him because that's his family. The symbolism of blood is thicker than water. So when Mufasa defeats Kiros and that big ass boulder comes down through the water and crushes him, and Mufasa's swimming back up and he almost reaches the surface, but then he starts drowning, right? So Taka could have let him drown, and he almost let him drown, but he grabbed him He grabbed him and he hesitated, but then he ended up saving him. That just brings a whole new meaning to blood is thicker than water. I was like, oh. Not this Disney movie making me contemplate. But overall, I do like the movie. It took me a couple of watches to like really understand the emotion that it had. The actors did amazing. Kelvin Harrison Jr., Aaron Pierre, Tiffany Boone, everybody, like, they did what they had to do. Shout out to Blue Ivy. She did a very good job voicing Kiara. She did very good. Now, of course, nothing is going to surpass the original in this case, but it did serve the story justice. Love that, you know, they still honored James Earl Jones even after his passing. May he rest in ever-loving peace. But yeah, this movie was great. If I had to rate it, I would say 9 out of 10. Pretty good. If you haven't seen it, you late. So that concludes our video for today. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. And if you made it to the end of this video, comment a lion and subscribe if you want to. I'll see y'all on the next go round. Okay, bye.